I am a 41-year-old working mother with an elementary school-age daughter. I usually manage the e-commerce shop of my father's food company. I don't have much interaction with other people because I basically work on my PC. That makes things easy for me. However, sales have been declined recently, and there was bad rumors. Some people said that the company might go bankrupt. My husband Bob was very concerned about this.
Hey, is your father's company going to be okay?
You're worried about me? Thank you.
What are you talking about? What's the point of me marrying you if you're not rich? I'm with you because your parents rich.
What? What do you mean? Before we got married, Bob used to be a gentle, kind person. However, after we got married, he changed completely. He is completely a different person now. Whenever he felt upset, he would make a tick sound. He was never tidied, and his undressed clothes and socks were all over the place. I also saw him not washing his hands after coming out of the bathroom, which is really disgusting. And he only brings $500 a month. But he was the kind of person who would act like he was the head of the family. By the way, there was one time we had a fight a while ago. He said something like this:
"Who do you think is the one to support this family?"
It's actually me, but I didn't have the energy to get angry. Despite Bob's attitude, I became pregnant soon after we were married. At that time, I still didn't know Bob's true personality, so I ended up staying married thinking about the child. Of course, I was thinking about getting the divorce in the future. However, that day came sooner than I had expected. The company I worked for went bankrupt. Bob's attitude, which had always been bad, became even worse.
Hey, is it true that the company is going bankrupt? If that happens, what will happen to your parents' property? Would I get my inheritance?
This was the first thing Bob said when he found out about the bankruptcy. Inheritance? What is this man talking about? My father is still alive and well. In the first place, Bob has no right to receive my father's inheritance, and he continued to make fun of my father.
What the failed entrepreneur. That's what I told him I would be his successor. If he was a capable person like me, he wouldn't have gone bankrupt. Did you know that your father is such a loser?
Bob is clapping his hands and laughing. Come to think of it, Bob once told me that he could take over my father's company. I think it was about 2 years after we got married. By that time, I already knew what he wanted, so I declined the offer. I told my father about it, but he agreed with me. Bob had a problem with his personality and is not capable in the first place. So I've refused him, which ended up in a bad way. Bob seemed to have had it in mind. I mean, mentioning the successor of a company in the sudden? How stupid are you to come up with that idea? I don't know why I married such a man. It's safe to say it was my fault to trust his bullshit. As I sighed, Bob continued saying happily,
"Well, all we need now is a divorce."
"What? A divorce?"
"Of course, I married you because your family is rich. But you didn't buy me a car or a house. All the gifts went to our girl. That's why I was looking forward to my inheritance. But instead, it looks like I even gonna have debts in the future."
I understand. Bob and I got divorced. He was hesitant on paying for child support, but I managed to get him to pay it all out in one lump sum. It was very, very quick. Even though Bob and I are divorced, the life of my girl and I didn't change. In any case, Bob was a man who spent most of his time fooling around and was rarely home. If this was the case, I should have divorced him earlier. A year passed, and I was enjoying my new life with satisfaction. Then I happened to run into Bob on the street. He was walking with a young woman. "Ah, look who's here. What are you wearing, a suit? I get it. You're looking for a job, do you? Your company went bankrupt after all." "I thought you'd be homeless or something like that. It's tough being poor." My ex-husband was becoming more and more of a dick. The woman beside him said, "Oh no, I feel sorry for her." And she's grinning. It looks like he found a suitable partner with the same intelligence level. I took a deep breath and said, "I'm the CEO now." "Huh? CEO?" My ex-husband looked puzzled. But the next moment he started smirking and laughing. You mean you're the CEO's mistress?" How disappointing and disgusting. Even though we are separated now, he is still the man I once married. I didn't realize he was that much of a jerk. "No, I'm the CEO of my father's company." "Huh? What are you talking about? That company went bankrupt, didn't it?" Right, that one." "Didn't you know my father owns several companies? I told you many times." "What? Are you serious?" Actually, my father owned 5 different companies. One of them went bankrupt, which was true, but it was a small company with only a few employees. After the bankruptcy, they all went to the other group company. Of course, it was huge of the bankruptcy after all, but it was not as fatal as my ex-husband thought. It was an intentional bankruptcy. "But what do you mean you are the CEO?" I was wondering what to do after my divorce. At that time, my father asked me to learn from him to become his successor. The company of which I am the CEO now is running a business for women. Most of the employees there are women. I would like you to become the CEO of this company. That is what I was told by my father. I readily agreed. "Then you are rich again?" "Well, I guess I am in comparison to before." "Then I can get back to you." "Get back? You can get back to me? Who the hell do you think you are?" I ignored him and tried to leave. "Hey, don't you dare ignore me and walk away." My ex-husband grabbed my bag and pulled it. I wanted to slap this stupid bastard on his face. The next moment, I heard a loud slap. It wasn't me. The woman beside him was the source of the sound. "I've been waiting for over 3 years for you to get divorced." She was super furious. Her face turned red. After the 3rd blow, it was not a slap, but a punch. And she was crying so hard that her thick makeup fell off and turned to mush. Well, I could sort of understand how she felt. I even offered her my handkerchief. As for Bob, "Oh, stop it!" He sat there holding his head. It was really pathetic. But I felt so much better. I felt so exhilarated. I suppressed the feeling of skipping and slowly walked away from the place. And then I went straight to my lawyer's office because I felt so energized. Actually, I was preparing to file a claim for alimony against Bob. Of course, I knew that he had been having an affair since we were married. However, I thought that if I wanted to continue our marriage, I would turn a blind eye to it. But we ended up getting a divorce. Besides, after the divorce, I was so occupied with my new life, with my girl and my work. To be honest, I had forgotten about Bob. But recently, through a mutual acquaintance, I found Bob and his girlfriend's social media accounts. There were so many lovey-dovey pictures of the two of them posted from when we were married. Now that I found plenty of evidence, I was wondering if I should file for alimony or not. I was still feeling not sure about the decision after that, and when we met again, he was behaving totally like an asshole. So I filed for alimony against Bob and his girlfriend. Both of them made a big fuss about it, but my lawyer did a good job. After that, they seemed to have broken up, but what I heard was that she had turned into a stalker and stick with Bob. I'll say those two are just not ready to get out of all the misery. Raising my daughter alone and working hard as an CEO. For women who want to work while raising their children and taking care of their family, or just want some rest because of menstrual pains, I will continue to do my best so that they can enjoy their working time.